Neighbors in South Memphis say they're counting down the days until Sterilization Services of Tennessee closes at the end of the month. That plant has been emitting toxic chemicals into South Memphis for 45 years legally. Now, Fox 13 has continued to investigate the effects as part of our Contaminated Community series because all of our neighborhoods should be safe for our families.
Yeah, tonight, Fox 13 investigative reporter Kayla Solomon explains even with sterilization services closing, the problems continue for people living near the plant.
When we last spoke to Ural Grant, Letty White, and Rose Sims, all three were in different stages of cancer. Grant was going through treatments for stage 4 prostate cancer. White was just recently diagnosed with lung cancer, and Sims was in remission. All three of them have one thing in common. They live within miles of Sterilization Services of Tennessee.
Well, I used to go about twice a month. Now I go once a month.
Always been terrible. When I take the treatments, I feel sick in my stomach.
3 people, all living in South Memphis, all fighting their own battles with cancer.
It's been mind-boggling to a point because, going through what she's going through and seeing what she's going through, and also almost dying in front of me a couple of times.
When Fox 13 spoke to Rose Sims and Letty White last October, White was moving around fairly well. Just 5 months later, she needs a cane to walk, and she had to have a portion of her lung removed, making it harder to breathe.
I can't walk as far as I used to, and I have to keep my breathalyzer with me. My breath gets short when I walk certain distance, and other than that, it's just terrible. It's terrible. It's not the way it used to be. I'm not the way I used to be.
White and Sims live just a couple of miles from Sterilization Services of Tennessee. The plant, which sterilizes medical equipment, has legally emitted a chemical called ethylene oxide into the air for decades. Fox 13 reported it was only in the past few years the EPA warned the public the cancer risk from ETO is up to 60 times higher than previously understood by the agency. Those living closest to the plant, like Ural Grant, are at the highest risk. He was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer 4 years ago.
At first, I thought it was just me, but when I found that so many people in the neighborhood had cancer, that I said, well, it must be something to it.
Since the announcement about the higher cancer risk by the EPA and the Shelby County Health Department in 2022, a handful of class action lawsuits against sterilization services have popped up. Several attorneys are running advertisements looking for victims. Grant said he looked into one of the class action cases, but ultimately decided against joining it.
I don't know how many people was in the suit, so, they probably wouldn't left me with much.
The biggest legal hurdle is proving health problems suffered by neighbors were caused by emissions from sterilization services. Attorneys in class action cases would bear the cost of that case, including testing and expert witnesses. If a class action lawsuit is successful, around 40% of any money awarded would go to attorneys, with the rest split among the neighbors who joined the suit. For that reason, Sims and White say they were never on board with the idea.
I still feel the same. Like I told you before, everybody's situation is different. And I just like what she has went through, I may not have, but the thing about it is I did go through. So how you gonna lump everybody in the same class?
All three say they are looking into filing lawsuits on their own, but until then, they're waiting to see if the plant closes at the end of April as scheduled.
Just keeping positive, try to do the best I can, try to get involved with it, up there, and like I said, just let the neighbors know what's going on.
I put my faith and my hope and my trust in God, and I thank God that He saved me and kept me here in order to help her.
As those lawsuits continue, the shutdown of Sterilization Services of Tennessee is coming soon. The company said last year it would end operations in Memphis by the end of April. One of the attorneys involved in the case told me their team saw firsthand work inside the facility to wind down operations. We will keep monitoring that progress. Kayla Solomon, Fox 13 News.